Good evening, everyone, and welcome to your Rangers review post-match reaction video after Rangers 3-0 win over Aberdeen at Ibrox tonight. Comfortable in the end. It could have been a lot more comfortable had Rangers taken their opportunities, in which there were plenty tonight. But yeah, a comprehensive victory against an Aberdeen side who are on a poor run of form. It's now 12 matches without a win for them. Rangers were good. They opened the scoring through Hamza Igaman in the first half, latching on to Václav Černý, capitalising on a bit of a horror show in the Aberdeen backline. He cut the ball back for Mohamed Diamandi. His shot was blocked. It fell nicely for Hamza. And cool as you like, he just found the back of the net. He is a man in scintillating form, and it was a well-taken finish. A couple of other big opportunities in that first half. Hamza missed a gilt-edged chance just prior to scoring. Danilo also put through on goal and fired against the goalkeeper. Second half, Danilo actually came off a bit of a collision. He hurt his shoulder. We'll hear what the extent of that is shortly. Joshua is down in the press conference for us. Let's hope it's nothing too serious. He was removed at half-time for Nadim Bayrami, who had taken scissors to his socks and had ripped them to bits. But he'd contributed in that second half, did Nadim Bayrami. But Rangers wasteful in front of goal. A number of opportunities in that second half that they passed up. And it certainly gave Aberdeen encouragement that they could get something from the game. That being said, I thought Rangers defended well. They dealt with anything that Aberdeen through at Rangers, and deep into injury time, Rangers added to their one-goal advantage. A wonderful goal from Leon Balogun, who came on for Robin Propper, who hobbled off back in making a Rangers appearance, bulleting a header home after a wonderful Clinton Enciala cross. It was Lorenzo Amoruso-esque from Helicopter Sunday, the original Helicopter Sunday back in the day. Wonderful cross from Enciala, Balogun at the back post to make sure of the 3 points. And Cyril Dessers wrapped things up, being played through on goal late on for the cherry on the cake. His first goal since the 4th of December. I think his double against Kilmarnock was the last time that he found the back of the net. So Rangers totally deserving of the 3 points, Chris, but it could have been a whole lot easier than it had to be tonight.
I can just about hear you over the sound of Aberdeen fans in the corner here as they're giving the police message and giving their instructions before they head up the road. The police message actually rudely interrupted a wee blast of the Stone Roses while you were going through your...
how dare the police interrupt the Stone Roses?
It's been a difficult last couple of minutes at Ibrox, but apart from that, the 90 before that were all fairly positive. Like as you say, if Rangers had been a bit more, had been any more clinical in front of goal, they could have won that very, very comfortably, and even more so than they did. There's a few kind of nervous people on this gantry with 10 minutes to go, because match reports can be hastily rewritten if Aberdeen were to sneak one, but you didn't really get the feeling that was going to happen. That Aberdeen didn't really bring a lot in the attacking sense. So Rangers comfortable in a lot of areas throughout, and the number of chances they missed. So the game should have been dead and buried by half time. There's probably that many chances in the second half I've lost count of. I think the Černý one when he's through is maybe the most glaring one. Just kind of hesitating and going into the wrong space. So that's definitely a concern, because we've seen that before from Rangers, and we know what can happen if you don't take your chances. It can only take one wee mistake at that end that can cause Rangers. We have seen that, but it didn't tonight. Thoroughly deserved the 3 points, and I think the manager will be feeling a lot more pleased with himself and with his team and the situation than he has been after a number of other games this season.
Yeah, he certainly will be. Let's look at some of the big takeaways then. Like we said, I think Rangers should have been out of sight. There was a comment came in there by half-time for me. I totally agree with that. Number of opportunities in the first half, and like you say, Chris, numerous chances in the second half, breakaways that they just take the wrong option. And the final ball is often lets Rangers down. You touched on Černý there. He apologised immediately after. He knew himself that he Shouldn't have taken that on. There was other chances. Igaman came close. Hadji clipped the top of the bar. Some of the play, though, from Rangers was a joy to watch at times, middle to front. I want to talk about the back line because Clinton Enciala certainly is growing game by game, Chris. I thought that was probably his best game in the Rangers jersey. I'm not too sure who got the man of the match at the game, but he was certainly in with a shout for it. I'm liking the look of this boy.
It was like a man that got the nod in the ground. I think it was given. Well, it was still 1-0, so understandably, the guy that scores what looked like at that stage being the winning goal. Understandably, that he gets it. But you touch on Enciala there. He's someone that the fans had to wait a long time to see. I think there was obviously clearly given where he's come from and who he had been recommended by, and the clubs that wanted to sign him in the summer. I think there's quite a lot of hype over him in the summer. He's had to be really patient and wait for his chance. It's finally come. It's come in circumstances that are not ideal for Rangers, but sometimes players can just find themselves in the right place at the right time. That's certainly the case for Enciala. It wasn't an easy. I think back to last midweek, Dens Park, that type of occasion with all the noise that's around Rangers and the manager. That's a difficult place to go and make your professional debut. I thought he came through okay. I thought he then kicked on from there when he played against St John's at the weekend, and this is a really big step up from him. This is the best team that he's played against. Big crowd, an expectant crowd. People were really demanding that Rangers went and put in a performance tonight. Going forward, as we touched on, there will be a lot of I think people will be pleased at the chances that Rangers created, disappointed at the goals they didn't score, but that only comes into the conversation because they did what they had to do at the other end, what they've not done often enough in recent weeks. They kept a clean sheet, marshalled that Aberdeen attack really well, and Enciala certainly played his part in that. So usual caveat would apply of let's not put too much pressure on the boy.
Yeah.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's not say he's the next X, Y, or Z, or he's going to be this. He's going to make mistakes. He's still learning. He's still very, very raw. But there's definitely something there, and hopefully Rangers can coach that, can improve that, can nurture that, and he can become the defender that Rangers need him to be and want him to be.
Someone in the comments has already compared him to Big Calvin Bassey. So we've already
that might happen.
yeah, we've already got the comparisons happening. But keep it up, Clinton. Absolutely superb performance from him. I think in the running for man of the match as well, Chris, was a certain Yanis Hadji who was in the mood tonight. Some of his passing was a real joy to watch. He was really unfortunate in the fact that, as I touched on, he clipped the bar second half. He played an amazing ball into a dangerous area second half, and Raskin and was it proper at the back post? You can correct me if I'm wrong. Two Rangers players coming in at the back post, just dying for someone just to stick their head on it, and it would have been a certain goal. But he was sensational tonight, I thought.
That shot that he took on from distance and just clips the bar, that would have been quite a fitting way for him to get top off his night. As Bluebells and Blue says there, he's definitely in the running for man of the match. I understand why Igaman got it. If the chance that Igaman had, the Danilo lay off in the shot from Igaman in the first half, he put every single bit of his power in behind that one. That would have been a fitting way for it to add on to his performance. But I think Hadji deserved that. Hadji deserved his goal. Unfortunate that it didn't come, but I think he can be really pleased with a encouraging performance. He'll also get a bit of a break now, you'd imagine. There's no real need for him to start against Fraserburgh on Sunday. Obviously, unfortunately, not in the European squad for next Thursday down at Old Trafford. But next time Rangers are back in domestic action in the Premiership, he comes straight back into the squad for that trip to Tannadice, and he's shown what the fans always believed he would bring to this side. I said during his contract standoff and all the issues, he's not going to be the answer to all of Rangers' problems. It was never going to be one guy comes in and everything is fine. There's clearly other issues within this side, and we've discussed them at length, both on and off the park over recent weeks. But you can't fault someone of Hadji's natural ability. And as Alan says there, I think his attitude over recent months, it's really shone through. He didn't down tools. He didn't throw the toys out the pram during what was a difficult summer for him. He's then come back into a squad. He's worked his way back into that squad. Every time he's spoken, he's been really honest. You can tell he thinks about the game. You can tell he's got a real affinity with this club and with these fans. And I think for his professionalism, if nothing else, he deserves all the good things that are happening to him.
Yeah, I thought he was really good tonight. Hamza Egeman then, that is now, just reading some of the stats, it's now 13 for the season for Hamza, 7 goals in his last 6 games, and another really impressive showing from him tonight, Chris. I know we're touched on Clinton Enciala not getting overboard, but it's hard not to go overboard with Hamza Egeman. He looks like he is a real deal.
It's going to be a tough job at some point for Rangers to hold on to him. I don't think that will come during this transfer window. No. Come the summer, Rangers may find it more difficult. The only positive, if you like, for Rangers is that other clubs tend to overlook what players do domestically. If he was to go and put in a performance that we think he's capable of against Man United next week, that would add to that particular problem, because people are going to really stand up and take notice at that. But his domestic form has been excellent. He's made such a difference to this Rangers attack. You think back, we touched on it this morning, we touched on it pre-match about some of the low-key performances that we've seen here, and how Rangers kind of labouring to some of these victories, some of the performances that we've seen from Dessers, and some of the criticism that he's taken. Egeman is just such an upgrade, brings so much more to the party. Good to see Dessers actually come off the bench and get his goal. Not many people in here would have backed him when 1-on-1 to actually finish it, but he did finish it really well, and fair play to him for doing so. But Rangers just look a far more effective outfit with Egeman through the middle. He offers so much more than the fans saw in the first half of the campaign. Just a shame that he wasn't able to get up to speed that a wee bit sooner. I'm not saying it would have made a difference in terms of the title race, but you look at his figures and look at his impact. It's quite something in a very, very short space of time.
Yeah, it sure is. And again, we touched on if Rangers had Janis Hadji at the start of the season. Of course, Hamza Egeman turned up. He was injured at the start. You just wonder if Rangers could have got him firing to begin with. They may have been in a more healthier position than they are now. But I think it's a case of just enjoying them while we can, because he is a real special talent. Some interesting points coming in here. Just a sort of a negative slant on it. Bluebells and Blue says, I thought Dio and Cherny were poor tonight. The rest of the team gave a decent showing of themselves. Cherny looks like someone that's needing a bit of a rest. I'm going to go all sports science here, Chris, but he did speak after the Motherwell game about needing a rest in that game. I think Sunday he will surely be rested for Fraserburgh and Diamande as well, perhaps. You'd like to think that Fraserburgh presents an opportunity for Philip Clement to play some of the fringe players, some of the young lads as well, give them a chance, give some of the guys that have been going to the well pretty much every game, give them a bit of a breather.
You would think so. You look at the bench tonight. Does Mason Munn come in? Probably not. I think Liam Kelly will continue. Tav, it's a chance to get him some minutes, even if that's not from the start, just to build him up. Barron, you would imagine, comes in. There's every chance that Dessers comes in. Bayrami, maybe, but he'll also require that Old Trafford if Hadji's not in the squad. Balogun, same situation as Tav, just can manage those minutes. And the bottom three on the team sheet tonight, McCausland, Rice and Lovelace, they're going to have to be involved. I've no qualms at all about starting those three on Sunday. It's not a gimme, nor Rangers can't take anything for granted. We've seen cup shocks, been on the end of cup shocks, so let's not completely write Fraserburgh off, and let's not be disrespectful to them, but it's a game that Rangers should win relatively comfortably, regardless of what side they put out. So I think we will see a number of changes over that 90 minutes, and as we touched on earlier on tonight, it's about managing the squad through this run right now, because we know what's coming next week. We also lose Hadji and Danilo from the squad. We'll hopefully find out in the press conference or over the next couple of days what the situation is Robin Proper obviously going off. Danilo went off. Hopefully that's not a longer term issue. And then there's also the guys that we touched on pre-match in terms of Cortez, Dowell and Matondo as well. So there's still injury and selection issues for Clement to deal with, but he's well used to that situation by now. But the weekend does give him a chance to mix it up a wee bit. And you touched on Tierney there. I think he's definitely one who should be sitting with the feet up at the weekend.
Yep, as well as Llewellyn Balogun, of course, James Tavernier came back following his brief injury layoff as well. Came on at right back. And it's an interesting point. Well, Neil McLean has commented in, Big Phil just called it Fraserburg. I don't have issue with that. For guys that are from foreign lands, Borough is not an easy pronunciation for guys that aren't quite familiar with that. You often see people call it Edinburgh that are not from these here parts, so I'm not going to hold that against him. I'm not entirely sure he's aware of what Fraserburgh is or where it is, but there you go. John O'Rourke with a point. I wanted to bring this up before we go, Chris, because there was another demonstration from the Union Bears on the 55th minute, just banners being held aloft, John says, but glad the crowd stayed behind the team too. Yeah, it was a much louder and more vibrant atmosphere tonight than what it was on Sunday.
I think the protests, they made their point on Sunday. There was also a bit of talk about it, a lot of talk about it before the game, a lot of talk about it during the game, and obviously afterwards as well. I think the Union Bears and other fans decided to leave the stadium on Sunday. I think they made their point. It was no surprise that the atmosphere was different tonight. I don't think it's not a situation that's going to continue long term where Union Bears come in and don't sing, or come in, don't sing, and then leave early. It felt different around about Ibrox tonight. It felt much more like it, which was good, which was certainly more needed. That's what the manager had called for. He will hope that continues going forward. But I don't think he can get away from the fact that there is still this level of discontent, both in him and his team, but also in the bigger picture at Rangers, in terms of investment, in terms of board figures, in terms of just the general direction that Rangers are heading in on and off the pitch. That's not going to be solved by a win over St Johnstone or a win over Aberdeen. That's very much a longer term, a bigger picture. Obviously, Patrick Stewart will go through his internal, external review over the coming weeks, and we'll see what comes out of that. But it's no surprise that there were more and more banners tonight. I think that's something that probably will continue. But as long as, I think if that comes at the same time as support for the team, I don't think the wider fan base can have many complaints. I know that was one of the main points round about Sunday of, you're here to support the team. I won't be walking out. I won't be holding up a banner. And I understand all aspects of how fans decided to play Sunday, if you like. But I think those banners, they will be noticed by the board. How much impact they have, time will tell. But I think we will see that continue. Ultimately, all the manager and the players can do is just keep taking care of the results, and that's their end of the bargain.
Yep, absolutely. A few interesting points coming in. Neil says we need a better song for Igaman. We do. For a start, his name's Igaman, not Igamani. Doesn't go. So those out there that make the songs up, please come up with a tune for Hamza Igaman. Some of the Rangers songs are the best you'll find in the game, so I'm sure we can come up with a better tune for him. And this comment here, I wanted to touch on Kevin Clancy, because he's just a poor referee at the end of the day. Clancy was really poor tonight, some really rubbish decision making, yet he let a lot go, and failure to punish players for challenges. I just don't think he should be officiating at this top level, but that's by the by. I've been saying that for years now. What do you make of the man in the middle, Chris?
He actually got a big cheer when he slipped in this. I think it was in the second half. He fell over. I'm sure it was in the second half. Aberdeen were attacking, and I'm not sure how he ended up on the deck, but he did get a bit of a cheer for that. Safe to say that was the only cheer he got. I think the crowd here were really, really frustrated with a couple of decisions. Yeah. And as you said, I think poor probably sums up. He seems overly picky at times, overly lenient at others, and never quite seems to strike the right balance. But thankfully there was nothing that cost Rangers tonight, and we're able to focus on what was a much improved performance, and I say certainly a thoroughly deserved manner and margin of victory.
Yep, the gap's cut to 13 points. The title race is back on. I'm not getting too carried away, of course. I think it's a long shot. Well, it's not even a long shot. I would be amazed if Celtic were to collapse and Rangers were to go on an extended run. Over the shoulder, you can look at Dundee United in third, 10 points back. Aberdeen in fourth, 12 points behind Rangers. They are in free fall. Right, that'll do us there. We'll let Chris go. Big thank you to Chris and to you all for tuning in as ever. We'll dissect the game in more detail tomorrow. Joshua, who is down in the press conference for us, will get the thoughts of Philip Clement and whatever player is speaking to the press, and we'll discuss that on the show tomorrow at 9:30. We hope you can join us then, folks. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. Bye for now.